Welcome back on Dino. Today I want to propose you the unboxing and review about the White Dwarf of August 2019, as I promised you, and make an announcement. The announcement is about that instead of what I said in the last video, the White Dwarf about the July 2019, I'll make other videos for August. So this video will not be the only one released this week, and you can find in the description the other one that it's about Warhammer 40k Warhammer Conquest that has the first releasing in Italy. So I made the review about it and I publish in contemporary with this one. Why so? Because I want to publish next week the unboxing and the impressions about the Codex Space Marine and the facts about the Codex itself, because there are a lot of things to say. So because I can't make all the videos at the same time, I decided to split the videos in such a way and so occupy the weeks about August. So take note about such options. Eventually maybe I'll miss a week in September, but not to worry, anyway I'll try to cover it. And in any case, if you are interested about questions for Warhammer 40k, the Codex Space Marine, you can write under here or under that video if you want that I make some more details videos about, because I think to have only one video about that codex, otherwise you say something about. So take note of this announcement, and now we can go to see this White Dwarf because it's really quite an amazing one. And we can start talking about the cover that shows one of the main themes about the White Dwarf, that are the Stormcast Eternals, the Evil of Elderhammer, that as you can know I play, so it's really quite interesting in such case. And so now we can go to see the contents inside this White Dwarf of August 2019. Here we can find the imaging alternative for the ones that subscribe the White Dwarf, so that you can have it, but it's quite similar to this one, so there are not difference in this case other than the removing of the different scripts and so on that are here. Here we can see the theme of the White Dwarf, here the anticipation about what are the main things inside, here the contents that they are quite interesting as you can see with nice images. Then we can flip and we can find the part about the mailing list of the reader to the White Dwarf, and it's combined because from some volumes of the White Dwarf now it's doing so, with also the models sent by the readers, so it can be really quite interesting to make some decision about some particular colors, some modifiers and so on, that can be really quite interesting. For example, I want to make you understand this one that has this model with these modifiers, so the popcorns that are quite funny in such a way. So it's quite interesting because if you see here, for example, there is something that can be associated to a theme of Blood Bowl, so it can be really quite amazing in this way. Then we can find this, that it's an article about how to create the background for your world, for your universe that you go to play. And I think that it's really quite interesting because they can give you quite some interesting ideas. For example, if you want to create a campaign or other things, it's something that it's not only related about Warhammer, but in general it can be really great suggestions that I suggest you to read about. Then we can start about the part of Age of Sigmar. Here there is the part about the rules of engagement, and it's clarifying about Travis Johnson of some of the rules, so there are facts analyzed. But I want to remember you that these are not official, so even if they are on the White Dwarf, it's made by him. Said so, you read, you understand how they develop, but they are not official. So make a reading, but take note about such thing. Because I say this, because if they are on the White Dwarf, the problem is to recover them, and the facts are having to be accessible. So okay, they are correct, but anyway, take note about such problem. And then the background about envies of Enderarmer with nice images. They are really amazing. This one, it's fantastic. It's the envies of Enderarmer against the Flesh Eater Kurz. Both are my armies, so I'm really glad about this. And we can find a lot of background about the envies. So take note that this is a lot of background that involves the envies and the forbidden power, and it brings on the background itself. So if you go to read this, you'll know a lot of things that happened after the book of the Soul Wars Forbidden Power. So I suggest you really to take note of such options, because there are a lot of information inside this that are quite interesting ones. And we can find also the background of a new special character that we can find soon, with other backgrounds, with the conscription of the Sempiternals, that it's a chamber of the Abyss. We can find a lot of things that are quite amazing. Here again, the image about the Soul Wars. We can say the Forbidden Power because they are the enemies against the Night Hunt, and this is, if you go to see, it's the same image that it's here. So it's quite interesting to see the complete one. And here there are the rules to play the new battalions and the new characters that are available for the envies. It's quite interesting, this one, because there are also the points, and this character, it's quite amazing. It's worth the points, so really great. Here, if you go to see these points, they are really quite high, but except for the character that I think that it's worth, because it's really worth its points. The other ones, maybe the other battalions are a bit too costly, but anyway they can be useful, so it's up to you to decide. What is strange is that all the background about such characters and about the battalions, it's related about Lettuce, but because the rules of the Forbidden Power volume, you can't use the battalions themselves with them, so it's a bit mocking about this, because they are related about Lettuce, but you can't associate the rule about Lettuce with them. But anyway, it's quite interesting as rules. Then we have how to paint the envies, and I find it really quite interesting. Obviously it's relatively interesting, but it's really quite good to have to understand how to paint it quite simply, because they are simple colors but effective one. So I suggest you to take note. Here we can find other options, for example some modifying here, this converting, that it's amazing. So little things that can make everything really worth. So I suggest you to make a site about this. Here we can find an article about the realm of light, so we continue the articles about the different realms, and I find it really quite interesting, with the different colors, different schemes, the different tonalities that you can find, the conversions, so a lot of things that can be really quite interesting. Here are other options, so a lot of interesting. And here we can go instead about the Warhammer 40k now, with an article about the campaigns, so how to realize, how to construct the campaign of Warhammer 40k, but you can apply it also about Age of Sigmar, because it's about the campaign. It's that it's quite interesting. So even if the main part it's about Warhammer 40k, anyway it's really quite interesting also to read if you associate it to others as games and so on. Then we have the part about the Warlords of Vigilus, so the 4 warlords that continues and make some additions. So we can find the part about the Genestealer cults, we can find these that add to the Chaos, the Hereticus new models about the Imperial Knights. These ones, for example, are the ones. Here we can find the part about Nargol, and I like a lot of these color schemes, really quite interesting one. Then the part about the Space Marine with the new version of the Repulse, that it's really quite amazing, anticipate you, really worthy to buy, or at least to play. And here we can find some conversions about the Chaos Warlords, or better, the Chaos Imperial Knights, that have different biddings, different conversions, so on. and they are really quite interesting if you go to see, because there are a lot of different options, and with different little modifying you can realize quite a lot of amazing options. Here we can find a fiction about Imperial Guard against the Tyrannids with a bit of Thousand Sons middle knit. And here we can find instead a battle report about the Apocalypse, so with the new game of the Apocalypse. So it's a spot about the Apocalypse one, and you can find how it's played, so what it's put on the field, how here with the different points. Here we can find the battle report itself, and so better understanding how to play it, and so understand if it's worth the buying of the Apocalypse book and all the things that are related about or not. It's up to you, but it's anyway quite interesting. So I suggest you to make a reading of such battle report, because it can be really quite good in the way that you understand if the different type of game about Warhammer 40k can be of your liking. Here we can find how it's modified to realize such things, so modifying and converting about a diamonds of battle, so a table, and they make you understand which part they used, they connected, and so on. I think that even described only a little can be really quite an inspiration to personalize your buildings and so on. Here we can find the part about the Golden Demon. What I find interesting is that this model I started to realize before seeing these models my Necrons one, and I choosing almost the same type of colors. This is obvious, this is anyway brighter, but as you can see the base of the models are the same. But anyway, I like a lot that model because as had a chosen of colors that are quite similar to mine but different, so it's a good inspiration, and I suggest you to see these models even if you know that you can't arrive to that amount, even only to have inspiration about the modifying, so for example the base, the colors, the scheme of colors, about other things. So don't make you lessened about such models but inspired. So for example such dioramas can be really quite amazing with simple models. You can see there are simply models on a base, and okay, they are painted amazingly, but realizing such options, such diorama, it's not complicated, it's not a complicated thing. So take note about and think about how you can have, for example, this it's a type of using of the different colors that can have the effects, so the ruined, for example. These can be really quite interesting. For example, you can use such options if you don't know how to make suspended the things. These can be quite interesting as an idea, so take note about such things. For example, I realized, for example, in the past a type of similar diorama, but I didn't use such type of option, and I know that this is better, and it can be really quite amazing if you know that this can be obscured, these ones that are about the flyers, so simply ones, but this scheme you can realize such, for example, such stairs without any problem. So take note about such options. Even only such things can be realized in different ways. If you want to realize something, use this as, for example, you don't want to have all of this, but maybe think about combining only only one sheen about this. So use as options such ones, because you can have really amazing dioramas, but in different options. For example, even only saying, okay, I like this, but I don't like to have both models like so. Okay, simply create and integrate, for example, this, use something behind this model for your conversion. Not make you subjected to something only because, okay, it has done so and so on. Use this to create your own ways, because they can be really quite amazing ones. And here we have another fiction about Warcry, because they had to promote the new game that it's a sort of skirmish about Age of Sigmar. so quite interesting. Then we have the part about glory points, so how to play Underworld, so this inspired, in this case, Nightvault. Then we have the new rules about the Blackstone Fortress. There are a lot of things about Blackstone Fortress that are being released. The game social are going to have quite a lot inside. And we have this, that it's a painting article about the light for your miniatures, and I think that it's quite interesting to read, so take note and take your time about reading such things, because it can be really good improving for your miniatures. And there are a lot of things that can have quite a lot of suggestions. Then we have an article about Blood Bowl, so a bit of background and a bit of playing with the special rules and so on describing. And then we have the part about the Inside Studio, so what we see in the next future White Dwarf, what they are working about. So it's quite interesting. We can find, for example, this one that it's modifying and has a lot of interesting things inside. We can find a lot of models that are working about, and all great, all quite grand, because we have blades, we have this that it's a Titan of the Eldars, so quite a lot of interesting things. Here we have the Imperial Knights, a lot of things. And they anticipate us that in the next month there will be, in 20 September, the release about Primaris Dark Angels things, so quite interesting ones. And they anticipated us with this imaging that it's lately about that Dark Angels, because they want to upgrade also the other chapters other than the principal one with the Codex Space Marine. I want to remember you that there will be the releasing about the principal codexes, about, for example, now has been released the Ultramarine and the White Scars. In the future there will be also the other ones, and they will be quite interesting. So I think that they'll use the White Dwarf to make an updating also about the other, we can say, big chapter that are not following strictly the codex itself. So take note about such options. What I think about this White Dwarf, I think that it's really quite worth, and I suggest you to buy, because it's really great. And I think that there are a lot of things inside, from the Stormcast tunnels, from the painting guide that it's really good, the fiction, obviously, that it's quite worth, and also the part about how to construct your background and so on. I think that there are a lot of things inside that they're worth. Sincerely, I'm glad to have bought this White Dwarf, obviously, if you are interested about. So, from Dino Mode, it's everything. I invite you to put a like on this video, to subscribe to the channel, to ring the bell, and to comment this video if you are interested in something about this video, or you want to suggest me some arguments for other videos. I hope to see you again. To the next time.